had the world
Yes.
looking at him.
Agreed.
And the whole thing was a debacle. It should never have been tried. He was
an overzealous prosecutor.
Absolutely. Who saw himself as some sort of Javert chasing Jean Valjean. Because he
How poetic.
Well, he had tried to get Michael before, and it failed.
Mm-hmm.
And after Michael was acquitted in this case, I went to the press conference and I asked him, the prosecutor, I said, "Are you through chasing Michael Jackson?" And he said, "No comment."
Wow.
And that night, Michael left his beloved Neverland and never came back.
Wow.
But preceding that, there was this crazy trial with 2,000 media accredited. They were not all there at the same time, or little Santa Maria probably would have sunk under the weight.
Right under the weight.
But most of them were tabloid journalists. This was the advent of the tabloid trial. And
what toll do you believe, in hindsight, what toll do you believe that trial took on Michael?
I think it killed him. I think the trial killed him. You could see him shrinking during the trial physically. When it was over, he called me. I mean, they all call me. It's amazing. But Michael I had met him, and I saw him every day. And he finally called me after it was all over to thank me for being fair to him, because nobody else was. They all were out to get him in one way or another. And I said to him, "Michael, how was the trial for you?" And he said, "It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life." And that was true. Michael was a very sensitive and gentle soul, and he was not up to this. He became ill over and over again. I talked to his lawyer frequently, Tom Mesereau.
Who you have great respect for.
I do, and I think that he did an amazing job on the trial.
I don't believe for one second Michael Jackson molested any of these people. Neither did 12 jurors in Santa Maria, California. They acquitted him of 10 indicted felonies and 4 lesser-included misdemeanors. 14 in all. They couldn't get him on even a misdemeanor. He was innocent. Now, as far as the case goes, I have to tell you, I've never seen so many witnesses provide so much salacious, disturbing testimony, and I've never seen so many witnesses crumble so quickly under cross-examination. I'll probably never see it again. I mean, it almost became a circus. People would get on that stand and say they'd seen the most horrific things on the planet. There would be just a heavy atmosphere in the courtroom, so you could almost cut the silence with a knife after they were finished. And on cross-examination, they would just splatter. The media, just the way they reported the case was just remarkable. They would hear salacious testimony, and the reporters would run out and report it. They would not wait for the cross most of the time, or they'd want to ignore the cross. And it was just clearly their goal was ratings, revenue, which you would expect. They're nothing but businesses. And their goal was to see him go down. As far as client control, client efforts, I mean, this was the nicest client Susan and I have ever dealt with. I'll tell you that. He was extremely down to earth, very cooperative, very nice, never tried to get in our way. The problem was people around him. Poor Michael Jackson has always attracted just a large number of just very disingenuous types who would try to ingratiate themselves with him, try to make him think they were his friend, and then turn on him in some way. There were constant efforts to try and find a way to profit off this case.